Well, hi there. This is Aviation Adventures with Captain Ron, and I want to tell you about our local EAA group, 790, out of Lake in the Hills here. We had a birthday party for a 106-year-old B-24 World War II pilot veteran, Ed Berthold. We've had a birthday party for him the last several years, and he is quite an amazing guy. His memory may not be the best, but I can't remember stuff that back far anymore either. But he is very lucid. He lives in his own home. In fact, there's a very touching story at the end. I'd really like you to listen to it at the end of the video. A very touching story about what a bunch of local people and contractors did for Ed. It's just very nice and very heartwarming. And we had just a little presentation for Ed here, a little slideshow, and I've integrated that all in here. So I think you'll will really enjoy listening to this about this World War II veteran. And the two of us are sitting there. Ed's on the left there. This is at the EAA meeting out at my hangar at Lake in the Hills. So hey, listen up. I think you'll enjoy this. Thanks for watching.
What a group. Don't we have a lot of fun here? I'm the publicity agent for this young man right here, who just had his 106th birthday last Thursday. John has been really nice to put together all this video stuff. I've got a presentation that I used for U46 teachers.
Hold your micro close.
Christine? I'm right here. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
anyway, Ed, when he was available, would speak to some of the kids at some of the classrooms for U46. So what I did, I put together a presentation. Now I'm going to shorten up quite a bit. I'm just going to show quite a bit about Ed's history in World War II and so forth. And I'll talk a little bit about his post-history from World War II. And then after Tom's presentation, if Bud is still feeling okay to stick around, we'll have a cake. So,
Yeah.
anyway, what are you going to show first? The beginning? Okay. You want me to click or you? Why don't you click? Bud Berthold, next. B-24 pilot. Out of England. Oops, go back one. He was born in, there you go. Born in Chicago, 1919. That happens to be the same year American Legion was formed, I just found out. Married, 2 children. His wife Jo passed away some time ago. He entered service in November 1942 with a good friend of his, George Bilas. Then he went to Santa Ana, California, cadet training. I haven't memorized this, so I got to read it. 1942, primary training in Oxnard, California. But let me ask you, was it kind of nice of you to be able to go out to California from Chicago at that time?
Yeah. Great.
Right? You like it? Okay. I noticed most of the stuff is out west. Basic training in Santa Barbara, advanced training, twin engine Douglas, Arizona, Bamboo Bomber, and B-24 training in Tucson. In England, he was assigned to B-24 Fort Worth, Maine, which is built in Fort Worth, Texas. They often talk about the B-24s built by Henry Ford's company there in Michigan, but Vultee Consolidated also built B-24s. That was also the same place that Jimmy Stewart was the commander of the 702nd Squadron. In fact, there's a little slide in here about Jimmy. And after a tour in England, he was assigned to stations in Harrington, Kansas, and Virginia for instructor. His awards were 4 air medals with 4 clusters, Distinguished Flying Cross, European Theater of Operations Ribbon, and just recently in 2024, the Legion of Honor, which is awarded by the French President in 2024, which was the 80th anniversary of D-Day. He was discharged at Chinook Field, just down the street here, in 1945. Basically, he had 18 months of training and 3 years of service. So next, next, that just shows. Next, this is for the kids to show the occupation the Axis countries had back in World War II. Okay, this is his first airplane, yellow peril. Next, here he is in his BT-13, Vultee BT-13. Did I get that right? All right. Next, and again, stay in front of it. Now, were you actually in uniform like this when you were doing pilot training? You had a tie and everything on?
I don't really recall.
There we go. Okay. Let's just say you did. Very formal.
Whatever the picture said.
Yeah, whatever the picture says.
He's got his parachute on.
Yeah. I don't see his leg straps though. Hope you didn't have to jump out that way. Next. There's the Vultee BT-13. Is this the plane that you lost your friend in? The Vultee BT-13?
And training, yeah.
Training. He had a good friend that he took the troop train from Chicago to California, and he went through all sorts of training with him. He was his roommate and so forth. And he wanted to be a navigator. But of course, at that time of the war, we were needing more pilots. We were literally running out of pilots. The Ford company could build a B-24, 1 B-24 in 63 minutes. But you cannot train a pilot and a crew in that time period. Hence the reason why they kept up on the number of missions. It started out at 25 in the Air Force, went up to 30, 32, and 35. Next. And this is the Bamboo Bomber. This is with your twin, and it had semi-retractable landing gear. Their landing gear didn't go all the way up in there, but when you're on final or you're coming in the pattern, they teach you the GUMP acronyms. And that's a picture of him in his uniform. That's in front of your house, right there in Chicago?
Right.
Okay. Next. And then there's a B-24. Next. This plane could carry about 1.5 times the number of bombs that B-17 could carry. B-17 became very, very famous, but the B-24 had greater range and had a greater bomb load. Now, people used to say, Bud, that it was harder, it was heavy on the controls. Did you find it heavy on the controls?
No.
No, no. And he's not a big guy, so interesting.
The B-17 was heavy.
Was it heavy? You've flown a B-17, haven't you?
Yep.
Did you get shot down? Okay.
Not yet. I'm still alive.
Next. This is a picture they made in case he got shot down. Or the French underground, or the Belgian, or the Dutch underground, to be used as a passport photo.
Where did they conceal that? Like if they're shot down, wouldn't they be searched?
I'm going to ask the guy, but he doesn't remember much anymore.
Thank you.
Where did you conceal your passport? Was that,
Where did I went?
where was that passport when you were flying? Where'd you keep it? Did you keep it on your person somewhere?
Oh, yeah. That's hard for me to remember. We must have.
You had to have it on you somehow. Okay.
Thank you.
If you were captured, you wouldn't need it anyway. So
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you landed without getting captured and you connected up with the French underground, there's your passport. Next. Okay, here's Bud right here. He was a co-pilot. Last 3 missions, he was a pilot, the B-24. And this is your pilot right here, right?
Right.
Right, your crew members. Next. I have this up. When he went to England, he went to Timenham, which is in the northeast corner of England. And you notice this designation for the runways. When you guys fly around, after the war, the government literally gave these airports to the cities if they wanted them. Okay? And many cities today, their airport is actually either Army or Navy airport. You fly over them, sometimes you see the designation for all 3 runways. Oftentimes they only use one because they don't want to keep the concrete up for the rest of them. Other times they take out a runway, for industrial buildings, things like that. But notice that as you're flying over. In fact, the Douglas, Arizona airport, I went and did Google Maps on that thing. This is right next to the Mexican border. You look at that and you see this side right here. So when you see that, it was used at one time by our military forces. Next. And here's 3 pages of his logs. This is May. Okay, next one. His 10th mission was D-Day. He bombed the St. Lo Bridge. And the whole idea of bombing the St. Lo Bridge is to keep the German regiments from coming and getting to the troops on the beaches. You had the next one. This is his last one. This is just his flight log for England. 3 months. He was there 3 months. He was very, very fortunate to have good weather during that time. In fact, you were telling me, Bud, that one of your, maybe about one of the pilots that was assigned to that had a number of his, when you go halfway through your missions, you're allowed to take R&R, rest and recuperation. And he elected to take rest and recuperation. The rest of the crew did not want to do that because their missions were, so far, they weren't dead, okay? And they wanted to get home as early as possible. But that one person who took R&R on a B-24 to Scotland never got there. Nobody on that plane ever got there. Did I tell that story right? Okay, good. Thank you. But he had a total of 600 and some odd hours, of which 400 hours, 213 hours were combat, 400 hours was in training. Next. Next. Okay, this is the mission summary. I just put this together the other day so you wouldn't have to look at all those little teardrops. 4 missions to bomb the V-1 launching sites in France. And I did a little Google search on that. There were hundreds of V-1 launching sites in France alone. You know, we hear about Peenemünde and all this kind of stuff, but you don't hear about these other things. You think they're all over by Belgium and further east. He had 3, they bombed marshalling railroad yards, 8 railroad bridges, 3 synthetic oil plants. Okay, they were running out of oil. 3 aviation factories, 9 aviation airfields, 3 chemical and petro oil dumps, and 2 saturation bombings for a total of 35 missions. Okay, next. And here's just a dot. A different color is a different month. One of his last missions was Berlin. Now, you were the pilot on the Berlin mission, weren't you?
Right.
Yeah. And they were also the deputy lead for the last half a dozen missions. The deputy lead means you've got a lead bomber in your group, okay? And everybody bombs off the lead bomber, okay? And if he gets hurt or
taken out,
shot down, then your deputy bomber takes over.
Tommy,
Yes, sir.
each flight had, later in the war this time, talking about now, had 2 bombardiers. Everybody else following, if it was 100 or 200 planes, were called toggleirs. And the lead number 1 bomber, when he dropped smoke bombs, all the other planes could see the smoke. It was very positive. So then as soon as the toggleirs, they hit the toggle switch. That's how they got the name. And that put their salvo down watching. Now, if the lead bombardier got shot down, the second bombardier took over.
Oh, plane, yeah. I asked Bud, what did you bomb at? Did you bomb at 20,000 feet or whatever it is? You said you actually came down in altitude to bomb, right? Okay. I asked him what altitude. He didn't know.
why would you go down?
So you can hit you hit your targets. When the Allies decided to do daylight bombing, the British and the 8th Air Force in England thought we were nuts. Okay, The British did nighttime bombing. He says, you do daylight bombing and it's suicide. Okay, and it basically was. There was more air crews and pilots killed in the 8th Air Force in England than all the Marines in World War II. Hence the name the Bloody Eight. Hence the reason they kept upping the number of flights you had to continue taking. And also, there's something else interesting about, you guys heard about the Tuskegee Airmen? Okay, but they actually flew out of Italy, the 15th Air Force. So I was going to ask Bud, you didn't see any Tuskegee Airmen, did you? No, they flew out of Italy. This is a letter that Bud wrote to Jimmy Stewart Jimmy had done some briefings for some of your missions, if I recall. Now, where did you meet? Where did you meet him at the airport at one time? Like years later?
I can't remember where I met him again, but we met someplace that I can't
Yeah.
tell
And
you.
then he found out from somebody that he was living back in Indiana, Pennsylvania, which his dad had his hardware store, and he wrote him this letter and so forth. And he talks about George Bilas. Okay. Okay, next. And Jimmy was kind enough to write this letter back, to reply to him. You said something about Jimmy Stewart. You want to give your impression of Jimmy Stewart?
Well, he was such a great guy and so down to earth. It was a pleasure to meet him.
It was just like you see on TV, right? Okay, next. This was, Bob Green wrote an article in the Chicago Tribune many years ago when George Bilas, he didn't have any brothers and sisters, but when his folks died, all this stuff inside the house got put on the street to be thrown away. And someone comes by and they see some APO post office letter, Army post office letters. Starts reading it. And that person sent it to Bob Green, who was a writer. And he wrote about 6 columns of this. Okay, and someone had told Bud about that, and so Bud wrote Bob Green, and this is what Bud is singing. Yeah, anyway, I won't read it. But anyway, that's a letter that he wrote back to Bob, and Bob published that. Next. And here's a commemorative plaque at Tibbenham Airport in England. Next. Okay, John, and you and your brother set up a trip for Bud last year for the 80th anniversary of D-Day. And Bud went on that, and this is some of the slides on that. Well, thank you very much, John. That was very nice. John asked me if Bud would be interested in going this year, and I asked Bud, he says, no, once he's off. He says, I'm not 100 years old anymore. Next. And here's some of the slides from there. Okay, Bud, and so forth. Next. This is wasn't he a Navy corpsman at one time? Your buddy that was with you? Because people who get up in age, in order for them to fly over there, they have to have somebody to care for them. Okay, so they assigned this ex-Navy corpsman to be with them all that time. You liked that guy, didn't you?
Yeah.
You said he was a pretty nice guy. Next. And here he is there, taking a Jeep and so forth. You want to comment about your reception by the people of France over there?
Well, it was so great to have that reception, and it kind of humbled you a little bit. Yeah.
He told me that the kids are, to this day, are so thankful and so knowledgeable. Gosh, I wish they'd teach that stuff to our kids. They don't know anything about this. I asked my nephews and so forth. They're not teaching them about World War II or Korea or any sacrifices. So even the American Revolution is just just a date. Now let's get on to something else. And they wonder why the kids don't like history. Next. And then he was getting welcomed by the president at the time. He also got awarded the next. I'll get it right. Just a second. He got an award, which is the highest award that France can give out. National Merit? What is it? What's the name?
It's the Legion of Honor.
Legion of Honor. It was developed by Napoleon during Napoleon's time. Okay? And President Macron awarded that to him. How many people were awarded that at the time, John?
Oh, I think only, it was maybe 11?
11. Okay, you're looking at one of them right here. And your dad was awarded one too.
Yeah.
God bless him. So he's passed away now, right?
A year ago today.
Yeah. A year ago today? I won't say happy anniversary. Oh, okay.
101 and 8 months. So.
Oh, okay.
He was
What did he serve? What did he do? Was he the engine mechanic?
No, he was loadmaster,
Oh.
C-54's air transport tank.
Very good. Okay, here's a little video. I don't think we're going to play that, but it's back, and this is Bud back here. He's reading a letter that he wrote to his mom right after the June 6th Normandy invasion. Next. And this is some of the parts of the letter. Youngsters, back then, of course, there's no cell phones. There was no getting on your iPad and getting the Zoom connect and so forth. When you stayed in touch with your family and friends or girlfriends back home, they wrote letters. Everything was written in a letter. No typewriters. Yeah, right. Cursive. Next. I don't have a copy of Bud's Legion of Honor, but here's the award to John's dad. Legion of Honor. Next. And here's a picture. By the way, it's a picture on the cake. Next. This is Bud talking to some of the kids at U-46. If any veterans, I've been doing this for the last 7-8 years, and there's fewer and fewer veterans now that are actually presenting to the kids. And there's just a ton of teachers that want to have a vet to come in and talk during Veterans Week. So any of you vets, next Veterans Day comes in, go to the Gail Borden Public Library, and I'll give you the link, and I'll get access to it, and you have all these different grades from first grade up through senior in high school. Just apply for it. It's anywhere from 30 to 40 minutes of presentation. You don't have to have a PowerPoint and just get up there and answer questions. In fact, this year what I did, the primary thing was just ask the kids, what are your questions? You know, what have you got to ask someone about the military? Next. And then last one I put in here, be proud to serve your country. Okay, after he left the service, then he went to work for a beauty care company, right? You want to say anything about that? You're a manager of the Midwest area, right?
Yeah, well, in those days, they had the beauty salons around the country, and my job was to see that they were all operating where they were supposed to be operating.
And then after that was successful, then you started some of your own beauty salons, right?
Yeah, yeah.
How many did you have?
Well, we opened 3.
Right. You had one in Elgin, I know.
Yeah.
One in Florida. Where's the third one?
Oh boy,
Well, anyway, think
I
about
can't
that.
remember.
Nearby.
So after then he sold those businesses and he decided to play golf and to bowl. And people ask him, you know, what's the secret of your longevity? He says, keep moving. So we'd go golfing twice a week, and then you go bowling 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And you learn how to bowl when you're in the military on the East Coast, right?
I never had a problem there. It's
So golf.
your question was what?
Well, when you finished your training as a pilot, you were trained over to the East Coast, right, to pick up your plane. And when you got there, the plane wasn't ready, so guys taught you how to bowl.
Yeah.
And then you picked up when the plane finally came, it was a brand new one, I understand, and you flew that to Iceland.
Yeah.
Okay. But then you got weather socked in, and you learn how to ice fish.
Right.
Now this guy talks about those things. He doesn't talk about the combat. And what you'll find, most people who've been in combat don't talk about combat. They don't. Then he got over to England with a brand new plane. They took it away from you, right?
Right. Yeah, that's correct.
Would you yell at somebody or something? And get some demerit?
I didn't have a clue.
You'll notice on the his first flight log, the first 4 or 5 flights he's had, a couple of them were just getting used to the formation, getting used to England. The rest of them were engine problems. Had to go back. This engine was bad, and the second engine went bad, and the third engine went bad, and finally did they give you a new one? Was that the Fort Worth made? They gave you a new one from Fort Worth. And his pilot named the pilot gets to name their planes. Okay, and he named it Fort Worth, Maine. I can only guess why. Okay, so that's what. Anybody, any questions for him? No. Okay.
You answered them all.
Yeah, you did a good job.
Do you have anything to say?
Well, I sure appreciate the honor of having this exposition.
Okay. Oh, one other thing. Where's Rich? There you are. You feeling okay? I see you're in a wheelchair.
Yeah,
You okay?
doing well.
Rich is a neighbor of Bud's. And this last summer, he noticed during the real hot weather, Bud's air conditioner wasn't working. He lives by himself in his home, which he's had a number of years, takes care of himself. And so you got in touch with some people in Beloit, some vets group,
Yeah.
okay? And he got in touch with somebody who was an HVAC guy from Beloit. He comes down and provides the air conditioner and the installation no charge. Finds out that he needs a new water heater. He provided that, no charge. A new furnace, no charge. Then he noticed that the roof was in bad shape. So he got another contractor come down, put in a new roof, no charge. Got in touch with Home Depot, what helps a lot of the vets, and they provided a ramp and flag and some other things. And he says, hey, your driveway is all cracked.
Yeah.
Tore up the driveway, they put you a new driveway. They put him a new shower in upstairs, so he doesn't have to go downstairs to shower. He doesn't have to step over those tubs anymore. And you're going to move in someday, right?
I think so.
Yeah, you was hoping to move in last week, but it's still not ready.
I hope.
And so Rich, his good friend here, was the one that started all that. My brother told me something many, many years ago. He's 12 years younger than I am. And he says, Tom, if you want to look around, you don't have too far to look to find bad in this world. Yet if you want to look around, you don't have to look too far to find good. So those are the kind of people that help others. I don't have anything else. Okay.